Hello, and welcome to another episode of the Delivering Sports Show. I'm your host, Spencer Ostrowski. As the title suggests, I'm going to be speaking about the WNBA and everything I find wrong with it. So just to give you a little background on my experience with the WNBA so far. When they announced the San Antonio Stars would be moving to Vegas, I immediately began my interest in the league. I watched some WNBA Finals games prior to this, but I never had a real vested interest in it. So when I found out coming to Vegas, naturally I started scouting Asia Wilson in college, and I watched all of her NCAA tournament games. I was enamored with her dominance and wide range of skills at the big position. I knew she'd be the first pick in the draft, and I knew she'd be a generational talent right away. I mean, if you watched any of her games in college, you would know this. And I watched hours of tape on the newly appointed Las Vegas Aces, so I was extremely excited for the start of the season, and I had really high expectations, and everything that I expected, all my expectations were shattered. And it's been really fun watching the team and very frustrating. So we'll just start from the beginning. So I knew something was wrong the day after the draft. First thing being that you couldn't purchase Asia Wilson jersey. And in fact, you couldn't purchase any of the first round picks jerseys at all. So even if I wanted to purchase an Asia Wilson jersey tonight, who is now a top 5 NBA, in my opinion, a top 5 WNBA player in a rookie season, you physically can't do it. You cannot give them their money. How is the league ever going to grow if they can't market the next face of their league, quite literally? She's averaging 20 points and 8 rebounds in her rookie season, and tonight she dropped 20 and 14, by the way, and no one even knows who she is. That's just not acceptable. Your league can never grow unless you have these major figures taking charge of your business. They're limiting their league before they ever get a chance to grow. Oh, and speaking of jerseys, their brand new Nike jerseys they switched this year, which are really amazing, by the way, and really well designed, especially the Aces jersey. If you get a chance, I mean, they look awesome. You cannot get them within the next month. I literally checked the website tonight, and their jerseys do not ship out for 15 days. 15 days. The league is almost halfway through the season, and you can't get a purchased jersey within a reasonable time. And it's almost the All-Star break. How is that an acceptable business model to live by? The second glaring problem with the WNBA happened, I noticed, on the first day of the league. One of the most exciting days of the year for all professional sports league. Nothing is supposed to ruin the excitement of this day. But what's this? Half the league is playing overseas? Are you serious? How are you supposed to call yourself the premier professional women's basketball league and allow this to happen? So a close look into the situation shows some disgusting facts. Women who play in the WNBA get paid less than they do in China, Russia, and Turkey. Diana Taurasi, by far the best player in the WNBA, sat out an entire season last year to play in Russia because they paid her more. Have you ever heard of such a thing? Could you imagine Steph Curry or LeBron James going to China for a year because they weren't getting paid enough? This, in part, has something to do with the revenue share that they have in the league. A disgusting fact reveals that the WNBA players get paid 22.5% of the league's revenue versus NBA players who get paid 50% of the league's revenue. This is not acceptable, and this is an embarrassment to modern sports. I'm in no way saying that WNBA players should be getting paid as much as NBA counterparts, but the fact that they're getting paid half of the percentage of revenue, it can't happen. Another major issue I have with the WNBA, again, has to do with their marketing, which is atrocious. They show more women's college basketball games than they do in the WNBA. I'm going to repeat this one more time, and I want you, the listener, to close your eyes and take it in. The WNBA gets less airtime on national television than women's NCAA basketball. I'm at a loss of words. It is like the WNBA gives up on itself before it ever gives itself the chance to be anything. And so for this next segment, I'm going to place a little bit of the blame on some other outlets, mainly ESPN, Fox Sports, The Ringer, Bleacher Report, people of these nature. These guys and these companies pride themselves on being all-inclusive and a lot of times very political in nature, honestly. So can someone tell me why they don't regularly include the WNBA in their outlets? If you're going to tell me that these outlets only care about getting the most possible money at all times, then fine. That's fine with me. However, if these journalists and companies actually want to pride themselves on being progressive, they need to give the NBA more airtime. For example, SportsCenter should be including the WNBA highlights during SportsCenter every night. This is such a simple thing they could do, and it could give a lot of exposure to the league that they just don't do. It's just something so simple. How is that I don't know. I don't get it. It just makes no sense to me. And so now I'm going to get into I'm going to go back to WNBA a little bit and talk about things that really bother me, small things. Can someone tell me why the WNBA games are 10 minutes shorter than NBA games? Makes no sense and affects the league in so many negative ways. First, the scores are obviously going to be a lot lower than NBA games, which gives the league a very negative connotation because on the outside it would appear that these girls are not capable of scoring the points that a regular NBA game has. Second, it gives off a vibe that WNBA players can't handle the whole length of a game, which is just really dumb. Third, you're prohibiting potential of your best players. For example, this season, Diana Taurasi hit her 1,000th career three-pointer in a 399th career game. For reference, Steph Curry did this in 369 games, Damian Lillard did this in 385 games, and Klay Thompson did this in 372 games. This is all with Diana having the disadvantage of playing nearly a quarter less of a game than these guys have to work with. So benefits of lengthening this game played in these would include teams averaging over 100 points a game, 30 point per game scorers, and pretty much the eraser of these like weird negative connotations about the league, at least some of them. Anyone who doesn't believe in these things would come true. They've never seen a WNBA game. And of course there's going to be sexist people all over like the internet and stuff, but nobody cares about them, and they're just a bunch of nobodies, honestly. It's truly a sad state of affairs in the WNBA. The actual like product these women are putting out on the floor is nothing short of amazing. It's extremely fun to watch. I can't tell you. I'm going to the game on Sunday. It's awesome to watch these girls play. They play at such a high level. It's much more interesting to me, at the very least, at college basketball. Especially now the NBA has like the NBA playoffs literally don't matter, and like the excitement of like the next season is like deflated in a way. For the NBA draft, I had a much better time in the NBA draft than I am for the entire playoffs. So like no matter how it shapes up, because you already know who's going to win, unless LeBron and Kawhi go to the Lakers, in which case there'd only be two teams in the entire league that matter, because whoever comes in from the East, like they're irrelevant, and it's going to be probably the lowest rated finals like in recent memory. And even this last finals, there were 5 million less viewers on average. So the league, like fans have already taken notice that the NBA finals like are very like disinteresting. And if the Lakers and Warriors end up meeting in the conference finals with these crazy super teams with Kawhi, LeBron, and Paul George, like it's going to have extremely like higher ratings than the actual NBA finals. And that's just not how you want the league's makeup to be. It just doesn't. It has a very to me it has a very negative connotation that like unless you are a fan of like these two teams, like you have no chance. You have nothing to look forward to. Even if like your team gets the next big player like DeAndre Ayton, like you're like, okay, it doesn't matter. You just literally have to wait till the Warriors, like some of these guys retire or they leave the team. Anyways, the WNBA is like, it's a truly entertaining league that fails to reach its potential by the people who literally run it. It's extremely frustrating, and I know that's all I have to say about it. So let me know if you guys what you guys think below, and if you disagree with me in any way, or if you really think that this league could grow. And I encourage everyone who listens to this to please like go watch a game, and you'll see exactly what I'm talking about. It's very, very fun. So thank you, and see you.